And back on that last conversation, the post that I just sent. Like I said, my dad. Lately, he's been bringing extra stuff into the house and stomping and jumping on the floor. My uncle been stomping on the floor. So I'm like, what are y'all doing? Trying to weaken the foundation? I already went up under the house once and put some more beams on there, raise it up just a little bit more. But some of the stuff they're doing on purpose, 'cause that's how, like my uncle, like I said, his trailer, he had put gas around his trailer. He was trying to get rid of some ants or something. So like I'm saying, people do fake insurance claims. He had a truck. He had a truck that caught on fire, and my dad hid that truck off in the woods somewhere. I'm tired of people playing with me. So I don't mind exposing no one. Um, they always trying to expose me. There was a white Avalon that I had, but people didn't realize I spent that money trying to get that car fixed with my dad. My dad drove to Garner when they had a blown head gasket. I put some Earl's head gasket repair, 2 bottles, flushed the radiator, put it back in there, bought coil pack, spark plugs, brand new alternator. Where I bought some hubs for it, needed some hubs and some tires, but the car still wouldn't pass inspection. And my dad act like he spent some. I spent that. That was my money fixing that car. The headlight was gonna be $400. I mean, I'm not gonna spend my money in that car. But he had like he was giving it to me. But what he did was actually, my uncle pays him to stay here in this house. He took that money and deducted it from what my uncle was gonna pay him, and then he had like he was giving it to me. But I had already spent money getting that car fixed for him. So I was, because I went to go look at a Suburban I was supposed to be buying from my cousin that I really want another 4-wheel drive Suburban. Like I had an '04. And when I got down there, they drove the Suburban where they parked it. But when I went to go get it, for some reason, it wouldn't start. Because I felt like somebody else wanted it more than me. So, been through a lot, man. But my dad, like, he likes to, I don't know. He like to hoarders things. And then he go out there and he like to burn his trash and stuff. I'm just trying to make sure I fix the little small stuff in the house so you don't have no pestilence. I spray and I treat things so you're not bringing the value of the home down no more than what it, it's a lot. But people say I'm the one with the problem. I'm just trying to help everyone else in the community so their property value stays up. Because you could have one house that has a bunch of stuff around it. It will discourage people from coming in and even investing in certain communities. Like I say, people don't hear what I'm saying, man. That's why I make these right here, so I give myself something to look back over, so I can see how I have my progress in life, how I have changed, how I have adapted to different situations. Like I say, man, you don't necessarily have to go out of the country to go to be in a war zone. You could be in it's a spiritual warfare. You can be sometimes in your home, man. You just got to be prayed up at all times. Put on the full armor of defense. That's one thing I can say my mother instilled in me was pray, especially towards the end. She was pray, just pray. And that's what we did. I don't know what my sister tried to say. My sister told me one time that my mother told her that she died. I said, I don't know. I can't see my mother saying that I was the problem. When I stayed there and I took care of my mother, I was cooking her 5 meals a day. I was taking care of her. My sister, she barely came down to the house towards the end. But it's something. My sister, when she got that real estate license, she just wants to sell houses, convince people to sell houses. But sometimes the homes that she's trying to help people sell, it's just on the ones in the family. They don't understand the detachment that calling and pulling people. Like I said, I watched my mother work and try to pay for that house. And when she got behind, I was down here in this house. She called me and said she was about to lose the house. I made sure my mother was going to get that money, and I did. I gave it to her so she could save that house. They were 3 months behind. That was one of the biggest arguments that me and my fiance, that she was upset with me. She was like, "How come my stepfather didn't want my mama to have that house?" He told her to lose it at that time, and that's when my mother called me crying. So I gave her the money. And then towards the end, my mama told me that she had mentioned it to one of her best friends, Priscilla Hopkins. She told Priscilla that I was the one who helped her save that house. And when my mother died, they separated me and my son because I promised my son's grandparents that stayed in Virginia that I wasn't going to change his school like that in the middle of the year. So that people are unaware of this too. There was a little $23,000 insurance policy. It was 3 of them. It came. I had already did a job in Fuquay, so I had majority of that. I had my own money in my pocket when I even came back to the area, and people knew that too. Most people realized that I had money, and I was unaware because I haven't been around a lot of scammers. I used to have online banking on my old phones, and when I would go out places and people would try to tell me that they had lost their phone, could they use my phone to look for theirs? I didn't. I didn't realize the importance. I've never been around a bunch of people. I didn't realize they were taking my phones at the time, and was hooking cash apps from my phone to theirs, and they were syncing the information. I was like, every time I turned around, there was something missing from my credit union account and from my first. I'm like, what is going on here? Till it got to the point where I started pulling my own cash out. I would walk in there and pull my money out, and there would still be money coming out. Like, what's going on? I was a bunch around the scammers. I've never been around scammers. I've never been around people that's their way of survival, man. Even in you can be. Even when we stayed in the suburb, the neighborhood, sometimes the people, I don't know, I think they thought I was the problem at first sometimes, or they misjudged me. I didn't have a lot of neighbors that really got to know me. I think towards the end they did, but I made sure I did what I could to make sure that I tried to keep the property up for my mother so they wouldn't be around there. My stepfather collected a lot of cars. At that time, he just wanted to keep me distracted, focus on the cars, because all he wanted was the house. Like I say, you can work, 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 work. That's what I wish people understand. You could be so busy in your life working, thinking you're focusing on yourself, you still be in bondage because you're being used. Be some type of people use you like a slave, man. As blacks, I feel like we still try to keep some type of leverage on one another's life and keep them back to where some type of control, unless you're part of the organization or some type of group, and they go off their worldly status. I've been going through stuff like this since I was a child. So since I was a child, this is therapy though. This is my therapy. So I'm able to vent. My son he's over there sleeping. I'm just doing the best I can to make sure he knows my presence is more important than any gift that I can buy him. So he's not being misguided. Yeah. Y'all, like I say, man, get into that word. And I keep saying that because, like I said, the Bible is very important to help you realign yourself when you're going through certain storms. Because you remember what Jesus did for them. But most important is your prayer life. It's what's going to get you through. Like I say, I read and read and read. I pray and pray without ceasing. Y'all be blessed, be encouraged, get into your word, feed your spirit, man. And just be. Try to look for instead of looking for a person's flaws, just try to pick them up, because you never know what a person may be going through or what they, have been going through or had to go through to get to where they're at. Y'all be blessed, be encouraged, get into your word, feed your spirit, man. This much feed your natural. Y'all be blessed.